aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations, but who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make the People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Moses Humphrey. Now let's quickly take you through the conversations this morning. Residents panic. Police begin probe as suspected U.S. missile warhead found in Niger village. And that, of course, and Atiku finally breaks silence on stepping down for other ADC aspirants. Well, he says he will not step down for anybody. He gets even more interested with politics in Nigeria. And federal government inaugurates committee to train 1 million Nigerians in digital skills. Now, these, of course, are the conversations for this morning. We will focus on these conversations. We'd like for you to follow us on social media. On YouTube, it's Voice of the People Television, and across social media, we are at VOP TV Live. All right, search for us, like, subscribe, and be part of the conversation every time we come your way.
Yes, we'd like you to be part of this conversation. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukuma Okoro, talking about other trending stories. A man has been rescued alive from the debris of the Great Nigeria House on Lagos Island, Lagos State, 11 days after the structure collapsed in the aftermath of a fire outbreak. VOP News gathered that the man was discovered alive on Tuesday afternoon. Well, recall that the multi-story building went up in flames on Christmas Eve before eventually giving way, prompting Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to order its demolition on safety grounds. But despite growing concerns that no survivors remained, emergency responders sustained search and rescue efforts at the site. Those efforts yielded a breakthrough when a survivor was found alive beneath the rubble more than a week after the collapse. Well, authorities have not yet released details on the condition or identity of the rescued individual, while rescue operations at the site continue. Well, I think this is a miracle, and I thank God for the survival of this man. I thank God for the life of this man. Unfortunately, there was a picture and I think it was a video of that of an incident in that building that my colleague here shared with me. A certain young man was trying to rescue properties, goods from the inferno, and I think he tried first time, second time, third time, and when he went back the fourth time, the thing caved in on him, and he didn't die immediately. He started yelling, calling for help, bring a bookie, even bring anybody, I will pay. I will pay. If it's about money, I will pay. And his voice started, going from high to dim until it faded out and faded. And unfortunately, the young man died. But this one, like I said, is a miracle. Survived 11 days, after 11 days. And without food, without water, how did he? It's just a miracle. I think it's miraculous.
It's a miracle. Without water, I don't know how. Because the way the body is, without water, after 4 or 5 days, your body starts to really crave water. And if you don't get water, you might get disillusioned, and death will come in.
Yes,
at that
atrophy
point.
sets in.
Yes. So, but it's a miracle.
Honestly, I'm not sure there's any medical explanation for this. For me, because
he has to be in a pocket where he could, breathe in some sort of free air.
Free air, that is ventilated.
That is not coming. That has not been affected by the fumes or the dust and everything
from the flame.
Yes,
from the influence. I think it's a pure miracle. This is what we call miracle, and not. Someone said went to Nigerian Defense Academy, got commissioned as a second lieutenant. From there, captain, major, brigadier, brigadier general, major general, and the person was appointed chief of army staff, and he said it's a miracle. I don't see how that is a miracle, because you had already prepared yourself.
Miracle is to whom it is.
Okay, the way one defines it. For me, so one that is a miracle. I mean, if you get somebody who probably didn't pass school cert, and you make the person minister for Attorney General and Commissioner for and Minister for Justice, that's a miracle. That's a miracle, because it was unplanned, unprepared. But that is now, apart from the miracle, it's also a call to responders, and I like the tenacity, of people that kept searching search and rescue team. They didn't give up. The man was not even yelling. He wasn't talking.
I hope the search and rescue team were actually looking for survivors.
Okay, but whatever they were looking for, they found a survivor.
They found a survivor.
I like their tenacity that they continued. They kept digging until they met on this man. It shows that, look, and maybe, and just maybe, that is the problem we have with data. As I speak, nobody knows the number of people that work in that complex. Nobody knows the number of people that visit that complex on a daily basis. We could still have some people unaccounted for.
We can only hazard a guess as to the number of people that work there. Because the number of people that work there will not correlate with the number of people that were probably trapped in there. Now, other individuals who may not even work there could run in and help and try to help save the properties.
Now, when I say the number of people that work there, it helps us get to a definite number of, okay, these are the number of people that work here. Then we can start calculating randomly, on a random basis. These are the number of people that visit here.
Absolutely.
On the average. So with that, statisticians, they're able to say, or a point of 0 to 1 to 0 and all of 1 to 10, they're able to guess there might be someone trapped in there, or we don't even have a head count, We should have a head count of the number of people that work there and how many people are missing and all of that. But it's a good thing that this young man survived. Like I say, it's a miracle. And
when I saw the story, the man you mentioned initially that called the wife and asked for assistance to come from anywhere, that if it's money he'll pay. That was the first person that came to my mind. And I was like, I hope this is the man.
I thought as much.
I hope this man. I hope he's the one. But I mean, God saves who he chooses to save, and it's a miracle. It's a miracle, to say the least. And surviving this number of days. And another good thing was he had glasses on. When he was brought out, there was glasses on. Yeah, so that probably shielded his eyes from the dust and other things. And you know how these things work medically. They say if you are trapped in a condition like this, the first 3 days, the first 24 to 48 hours, your body starts to feed on
itself,
on fats, fatty tissues inside, and all of that. Yeah, because you're not eating food, and then after that it starts to break down. No, I think the first few days it breaks down glycogen, and then later feeds on fatty tissues, and then the longer you stay, when it gets to like 7-8 days, it starts to feed on muscle tissues and the rest. So that was probably the stage
where they found him.
Yes, he was in, and they should be careful in reintroducing food to an individual like this, or even water, because introduction of anything can spike insulin, because the body will release insulin, and then that can even lead to death. But I do hope that
I think he'll be properly taken care of. I just describe him as somehow like a Robinson Crusoe of that building. He got trapped. But one thing I don't know is whether was he able to move around within that, or was he part of him? Was it something that?
No, obviously,
Because
the
I'm
debris
sorry.
wasn't on top of him.
Exactly, that's the question. Now, unlike the other man, something fell on him.
Probably had something on top of him. That alone can lead to early death. Yeah, if it's directly. I think he was just trapped in a pocket,
and he
pocket
was
space.
probably was able to move around.
May move slightly, move his limbs slightly.
He could also have been praying. God, please just rescue me.
Yeah, and obviously the movements were restricted because when he was pulled out, his hands were somewhere here, and he couldn't even move that hand. So it's one can say that the bones and muscles were already beginning to stiffen. So, but it's a good thing.
I just hope he survives.
Oh, he will. He will. At this point, he will. I mean, you don't survive all of that and then come outside.
Well, you never can tell.
True. But I mean, the will to survive is there already.
Yes,
so,
he's there.
So he will. He will. Well, we thank God for his life. And yes, and I think rescue efforts should continue. You never know what else you might find in issues like this. And also, it speaks to how we react in cases of emergency, fire incidents, and the rest. People always rush to the scene and try to see how they can, maybe save things or maybe steal in some cases, but we should give space to those that are trained to fight fire, and they should be provided with equipment as well. Because I remember an incident of a fire incident that happened at a radio station some years back. I think it was 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago or last year? No, it wasn't last year. Well, some years back, there was a fire incident at a radio station. And when it happened, some people ran in, and you will think that, they were trying to save, when we were running around, it was later discovered that some people stole things. Television sets were pulled from the wall and were never accounted for later because people just felt, if there's going to be a fire here, let me grab this one. Tabletop computers were pulled out and were not accounted for after. So they were basically stolen.
It happens all the time.
They're basically stolen.
And I'm happy that you brought us to this point about, people, self-responders, people who ordinarily it's not their responsibility, but they take it on just to save humanity. I don't know if you are familiar with the story of one young man in Delta State, who, according to his records, he was passing by, he was driving by, and he saw somebody who was collapsing. The person collapsed. Well-dressed young person and all of that. And so he helped, took him to the hospital. And in the process, he didn't even know him, took him to the hospital. In the process, he died. So as an innocent person, he said, he called the Delta State Police Command, and said, look at this, what happened. They took him in.
And he was arrested.
Arrested and charged with murder. He spent the Christmas there. In fact, according to him, he took the intervention.
This Christmas?
This Christmas.
My goodness.
According to him, he took the intervention of a highly placed individual in society to rescue him. He said he didn't know this person from anywhere. He
was just trying to be a good Samaritan.
He was just trying to be a good Samaritan. And a particular DPO said, look, you are going in for this. You are a murderer and all of that. Despite after investigations and everything. He said, I don't know this man. Now, family members of that man came and reported that the man had underlying illnesses that could have led to his death.
But they still kept him there.
They still kept him there. So, and now the man was trying to explain why, when you see incidents like this, you see people taking pictures.
Some people, yes.
Taking videos and all of that. Say, look, I'm not part of this. This is what happened. So, I don't know the role of the police in that.
I think it's just, that's an unfortunate incident. It's an unfortunate
Meanwhile,
incident.
according to him, they cleared his account. They cleared his account.
Yeah, that brings us to the Nigerian factor. Very unfortunate incident. In fact, when you were speaking now, I just remembered one that happened in France many years back. A young man climbed the building to save a child who was, there was a fire incident, and he climbed and he got citizenship for that heroic act. And then he trended on social media. Heroes not all heroes wear capes, and the rest of them. So, but see, another thing here is, To further address this issue that you mentioned is the lack of CCTVs. I mean, if we have CCTVs in relevant places, even alleys, street corners, it will better explain some of these issues and may have exonerated this young man because they would have seen this the point where the young man, the person probably slumped or had an issue, and then that would have explained when this other person came to intervene and the rest, and that would have exonerated.
Yeah, well, we can't have CCTV because at some point, you recall.
CCTVs.
No, we don't have. Okay. At some point, you recall that we paid a whooping $4.6 million to put CCTV in Abuja, and up until this moment, we don't explain tire because we don't get evidence.
Explain tire.
We don't get evidence. You know.
Oh my. Oh well, let's move on to another story now. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has suspended its planned nationwide protests against the new Tax Reform Act after a series of high-level engagements with key government institutions, including the Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS, the Department of State Services, DSS, and the National Assembly. Now, the protest, initially scheduled for January 14, 2026, was aimed at halting the implementation of the law, pending public sensitization and an investigation by the National Assembly. In a communique issued at the end of its maiden expanded National Executive Council meeting, NAN's president, Olushola Oladoja, said the association was fully briefed by NRS, that's the Nigerian Revenue Service officials, and lawmakers. I mean, the association was briefed by lawmakers as well on the objectives and provisions of the law. After extensive deliberations, NANS concluded that the Tax Reform Act was not targeted at the poor, but rather designed to ensure equitable tax contributions across income groups. NANS said the association would now partner with the federal government and the NRS to support public enlightenment on the law's provisions. It also passed a vote of confidence on the NRS executive chairman, Isaac Adidiji, and praised President Bola Tinubu for what it described as student-friendly policies. When NANS, National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, said they were going to go on strike, I just laughed. Is it not the same? Is it not NANS?
Is it not NANS?
is it not the same NANS that has pledged support for Sheyi Tinubu a number of times? I mean, is it not the same NANS that one Atiku Isa or something came out from? He was a factional leader of NANS and said, he was giving monies to campaign for Sheyi Tinubu, and then the allegation of him being beaten came up. He was arrested and then later recanted, said no, it wasn't like that. And then this same Oladoja, dissociated themselves from, a lot of things have happened with NANS. I mean, when they talked about going on strike, it was just to draw attention to themselves again, to just give the impression that, yes, they are interested. I mean, you don't need to have meetings with the National Assembly for somebody to explain to you the nitty-gritty of the new tax act. I mean, explanations have been going on. There have been town hall meetings. A lot of organizations have organized some sort of enlightenment training in this regard. I mean, the other time I attended an event, and it was an event for premium bread bakers, and someone from a tax professional was called to enlighten people. So these enlightenments have been going on. This was just to draw attention to themselves, and yes, it made it to the news, and we're talking about it. But I don't think they ever meant anything.
No, they never. But I think beyond this, what it speaks to is our process of recruitment into political life.
And by the way, why do we have people in their mid-40s and maybe almost 50s in NANS, the leadership of NANS?
If I go back to school now, probably to take a degree in law, I could as well contest for.
We have career students.
Yes, we do have them. We do have them. And back in the days when we were in school, we had two sets of career students. people who had failed and had remained in school and were collecting money from their parents, to go back to school. One set. We had another set too, security agents, SSS, who had graduated somewhere, came back, registered, and these were the set of people giving information to the government about what was going on in school. These people,
so they just hang around the school.
No, they come to class, they register, but they're actively involved in student politics. So at the last minute, when students have planned something, you just ask them who leaked it, what leaked it, and all of that.
But they will still fall within a certain age range.
No, any age, maybe in their late 20s and early 30s.
Yes. Those are the kind of people that should be involved in that.
No, times have changed now. Times have changed.
So we have,
like I said, if I go back to school now, and I'm in my 50s,
would you go and contest for the leadership of NANS?
Well,
how much longer do you intend to stay in school?
If somebody props me up. So that speaks to what I was coming to.
Okay.
The process of recruitment into political life. Now what you see in NANS, it's more like a replay at the lower level of what goes on in higher in society. You see a student union leader. Meanwhile, the system was prepared, to make our recruitment process very faulty. I remember back then, more than 35 years ago in the university, the office of the Students' Union president in school, he has one large room with like 2 vehicles, and a paraphernalia of office that speaks to the position of the SUG president. Now, talk about NANS now. You see vehicles branded with number plates. NANS, National Association of Nigerian Students, 002, 001, or 00 that, with police escort and all of that. You saw one in Sokoto State.
Yes.
Where the young man had like 3 or 4 mobile policemen escorting him, opening vehicles. Students Union leader. That's the process of recruitment. So when that person eventually gets into parliament and becomes the Speaker of the House of Assembly in his state, I'm not talking about House of Representatives or even the Senate President, you can now understand why he will have a retinue of officers, because he's been cultured all the way down, So he sees himself not just as first amongst equals, but that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. It speaks to our recruitment process. What do we have now? People that we are looking up to, the future leaders, how do we treat them now? How do we train them? Humility has taken the backseat. It's arrogance. Now, it depends on how many people you are able to suppress to become NANS president. It depends on your affiliation. Oh, well, some people are affiliated to the son of the president. Some people are affiliated to this minister in some way. Some people are affiliated to this commissioner. Moses, do you know that even ordinary Students' Union president in state universities receive the attention of the state governor? The state governor decides who becomes the Students' Union president in universities. I can call names. I know a couple of people who became Students' Union president because the governor was interested. So that's a process. So when we talk about state capture, it's not just at the federal level that judiciary, police, other institutions of government, INEC have been captured. Even at the state level, institutions have been captured, including Students' Union government, Students' Union leadership. So it's not different from what we see in NAS. When NAS said they were going on strike, I knew that it would be feeble. It wouldn't amount to anything. Like some people believe, well, they were just trying to show. Because if you show, at least the government will recognize that you are there. NAS cannot pull off. Days are gone when NAS was able to pull off very strong and impactful protests. Not these days that everybody is looking for. In fact, some of them are looking for vehicles to brand NAS so that they can pass police escorts on the road. That is what it has happened. They have called out the strike. So I wasn't expecting anything to come out from it.
Oh, well, let's touch on another story now. Justice Ahmed Mahmood of the Federal High Court, Sokoto, has convicted and sentenced the trio of Ahmed Abdullahi Buhari, Jamilu Bello, and Yasir Muhammad Bala to 5 years imprisonment for Naira mutilation. They were jailed on December 10, 2025, after pleading guilty to a 5-count charge bordering on the offense of Naira mutilation, contrary to Section 21, Subsection 1 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007. The court sentenced them to a jail term of 1 year each, with options of 100,000 Naira fine. Justice A.G. Mahmood further directed that all the convicts must depose to an affidavit of good behavior with the EFCC, which will be signed by either of their parents or guardians. These are young men. But lastly, the judge directed that all the convicts shall undertake community sensitization in any secondary school against the effects of cybercrime and other fraudulent offenses within their community, which will be supervised by any designated EFCC official. Yes, this is something that we have spoken against a number of times. The financial crime. Okay. Well, we've said, look, stop abusing the naira. It's an abuse of the naira. When you spray it in the air, it lands on the floor, people trample on it, and the rest. And it's an abuse of the naira. It's a Nigerian thing, and we have exported it. I mean, you attend parties abroad, and they now do that to the dollar as well. They spray it. Even those that are not from Nigeria also see it as a way to show off. No matter how you feel about it, if you feel, oh yes, it's my money, I made it, so yes, I can spray it around, it's bad. But jail term, I think we should be trying to decongest the prisons. There are other things, yes, community and engagement and the rest, but there are other punitive measures that should be given as against jail term. Because when you send them to jail for 1 year, would you have them reformed when they come out? I don't think so. The way our correctional centers, even though I still struggle with that word, correctional center, the way they are designed is that when people go in there, they come out worse off because they mingle with other individuals and their mindset becomes warped at the end of the day. So they come out more hardened criminals than they went in. So I think we should. And then we also talk about the fact that our prisons are congested. So I think the issue of jail term, we should simmer down on it and look for other punitive measures, community engagements, other things to punish people that err with things like this. But EFCC's involvement in all of this.
It's a financial crime.
Financial crime.
Well, I think if the prisons are congested, they should build more prisons. Before
we shouldn't be building prisons.
No, they should build more prisons. If you commit a crime, you go in for it. When Buhari was leaving, that was one of his parting gifts. He said, look, this correctional facility that is in the exclusive list, let's dematerialize it and bring it down to the concurrent, where both the states and the central government can legislate on it. So any state, if you have a lot of criminals in your state, governor, please do build correctional facilities so that we can send people there.
Can you imagine?
That is one aspect of it. Another is the fact that
training grounds and
what
other things.
I see, the problem I see in this thing is that, look, these young men, have been arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced. But we also saw some big names, that were spraying the same naira. And what happened? We saw Cubana chief priest, one.
He pleaded not guilty.
He pleaded not guilty.
The case was on for a while.
Well, okay. We also
they pleaded guilty.
They pleaded guilty.
Yes.
Okay, maybe because.
But Brisky also pleaded guilty.
Guilty, and he was sentenced.
Yeah, he went in for it.
He went in for it. Okay, beautiful. It's good that. Now, what this brings me to is the fact that, look, I don't like the way Nigerians treat our naira. To be very honest, let's be sincere. Have you seen a dollar that is manhandled like the naira? And even when you tried, we have this culture, attitude of, oh, it's dollar. No, handle it with care.
Sacred, yeah.
So when you see dollar, when you give somebody $1 or you go to bank to collect dollar,
it looks crisp.
It looks crisp. And the way the recipient, the person that has collected the money, the way he will line it
is the value.
The value of it.
You look at it and say, oh,
we are the ones
this is what 10,000 in naira. But then you look at naira and say, oh, this 1,000 naira.
This one cannot even buy bottled water.
Once I buy one bottled water now, it's useless.
It's gone.
So there's no value.
It's the value. It's the value. So
the value determines how you treat the currency.
You see Nigerians, when you give somebody like $1,000 in a bank, he lines it up inside his wallet, carefully bends it. But if you give him naira, he will just simply squeeze it and put it inside his pocket. So it speaks to how we value our own currency. So it's good that people are going in for it. But I don't
Is the value of the currency itself?
Like Moses, no. Apart from value, Naira is not the worst currency in the world. I don't see other people treat their currencies like the way we treat Naira. You know, you see a market woman, you know, she has this her collector here, and any money you give her, whap, any money you give her, whap, and all of that. So it's good that let's treat the Naira fairly. The value itself, that is on ourselves as well because it's our national currency.
All right then. Okay, let's quickly run to the papers now. Daily Independent has these headlines. The winner headlines: Q3 2025, discos generate 570.25 billion naira, remit 381.29 billion naira to electricity market. Lassa fever claims 206 lives as Nigeria records 1,119 cases. Lassa fever. Jonathan assures PDP of support ahead of 2027 election. Party says it doubts independence of INEC. 2027, call for me to step aside, betrayal of Nigerian people. Atiku. Ekiti 2026, there wouldn't be election without Oluyede. IPAC warns. Tinubu names Odusote first female DG of Nigerian Law School. Northern groups warn Wike's conduct threat to democratic governance. And also we have we also have Nigeria's 100 trillion naira market cap. Regulation, confidence, reform, rewriting equities market story. And yes, the bottom strip there, IGP redeploys DIG Gumel, 17 commissioners of police. Well, those are the headlines there.
And quickly, from the Nigerian Tribune, window headlines. 19 banks meet new capital requirements ahead March 2026 deadline. New tax reform won't lead to tuition hike, federal government. That's the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu names Odusote first female DG, Nigerian Law School. Now the big story. Plot to destabilize ADC will fail. That's coming from Atiku Abubakar. With the riders, says APC won't choose for our party. No aspirant will step down in our party, he adds. Accuses APC of standing alone by default, not by merit. ADC says no agreement on presidential candidates. Hints on consensus candidacy. Niger killings. Reps Minority Caucus calls for national security reset. Condemns wave of violence across the country. Ekiti Goba, PDP members protest exclusion of candidates. Opposition parties threaten boycott. Another big headline there. Jonathan PDP leaders meet over state of party. Ex-president remains card-carrying member of our party. Promises commitment to Raki. Jonathan keeps mum. That's it from the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, and that's pretty much how far we can go with newspaper headlines. We'll dive into the review of these headlines much later in the day. Now let's dive into our very first conversation. Residents panic, police begin probe, a suspected U.S. missile warhead found in Niger village. Let's talk about this when we come back from this break. Join us again.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Novisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarite is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging. Picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Voice of the People. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenda Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka. I'm the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios. Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I'll be like, well, this TV station will go places. Voice of the People TV.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV. Live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your #1 celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Good evening, Africa. My name is Mama Kore, actor, model, producer, and I'm giving a big shout out to VOP TV, man. Keep watching. Don't change the dial. Thank you and God bless you.
My name is AY, and of course, I represent the voice of the people, and that's why I'm on VOP. AY say so.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Miriam Tima from the Real Housewives of Lagos and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Shout out to VOP, the voice of the people. You already know. Stay tuned, keep watching. And don't forget, VOP is the best.
All right, hello, it's a brother shagging the man fine back with Melanie Poppy Black Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know why you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weight.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP, Voice of the People.
Hi, guys. You already know who it is. This is New Energy. Flyers, whatever, live it. Keep watching VOP TV. Thank you.
Hi, people. Jenny Albano here. Guys, please keep watching Voice of the People.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space. Exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
2564 is coming up on Barney 9, right?
The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Now let's dive into the conversation. Residents of Zuguma in Mashigo local government area of Niger State were thrown into panic earlier this week following the discovery of a strange missile-like object in a bush near the community. And according to local sources, the device, believed to resemble a missile warhead, was spotted by residents during routine activities in the area. Alarmed by its appearance and potential danger, the locals quickly alerted security agencies. A community source who spoke on condition of anonymity said that the object was suspected to be a missile component, with early speculation linking it to a Tomahawk missile, possibly fired by the United States recently to the northwestern part of Nigeria. However, authorities have not confirmed this claim. For confirming the incident, the spokesperson of the Niger State Police Command, SP Wasiu Abiodun, explained that police operatives from the EB division immediately mobilized to the location, cordoned off the area, and restricted access to prevent possible harm to residents. The explosive ordnance disposal and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear units, specially trained to handle potential explosives and hazardous materials, have since taken custody of the object for detailed examination. Abiodun said investigations were ongoing to determine the exact nature, origin, and how the object ended up in the community, Niger State. Oh well, we have with us in the studio Mazi Amobi Iheburu, a political affairs commentator. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We also have Barrister Darlington Agumwo. He joins the conversation this morning. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
And thank you very fine. Thank you very much. Now, joining us from Oka is Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesiobi, an economic policy analyst and public affairs commentator. And also from Benin City, Comrade Christopher Ojekere will be joining the conversation. Let's x-ray the possibility of this being the missile or part of one of the missiles fired by the United States. They did say it was precisely hit its target in Sokoto at the time. And then, if you look at this, coupled with the fact that another warhead was found in Sokoto some days back by some young men, something they played around with and took to their homes at the end of the day, with defense intelligence from the DHQ saying, please, we beg you, return it to the nearest police station because it might be harmful to you. Let's x-ray these happenings, the December 25, 2025 happening, and what we have seen, afterwards. Mazi Amobi.
Thank you very much. I think the citizens needs to be sensitized about the American intervention in Nigeria, because we've not had it like this before.
When you say sensitized, what exactly do you mean?
Sensitized in the sense that they need to understand a whole lot of things. That when you see an object, you don't touch. And then when you should also be ready to abide by instructions, because Nigerian government made us to understand that they are working in tandem with the Americans. So if they are working in tandem with the Americans, it is very imperative that the government should be able to also let the people know what this is all about. You can recall that in Lagos, I think in 2001 or 2002, thereabout, when we had that bombs, explosion in Lagos. About 20, 21 years ago or thereabout. It was obvious that Nigerians did not understand what a bomb is. And just like you said, people go about fiddling with it and all that. So there is need for Nigerian government to sensitize the Nigerian people, particularly those that are within the vulnerable areas, that you don't just take an object and begin to fiddle with it. It can be very, very destructive. I think that is one thing the Nigerian government should do around for now that it is obvious that the Americans have come to intervene.
Okay. Barrister Darlington,
Yes.
when that incident happened in Sokoto State, we were made to believe that it was in conjunction with the Nigerian military forces, and one would expect that such an activity in conjunction with the military forces, Nigeria, of course, will provide the boots on the ground, because I mean I don't think it will go well for the sovereignty of our nation if America provides boots on the ground. And then, if you talk about boots on the ground, shouldn't we have seen an immediate assessment of the strike site and then retrieval of whatever debris might have been left behind for Sokoto, as against what we are seeing happen much later? And then, could you possibly hazard a guess as to how this particular warhead might have found its way to Niger State?
Now, propaganda is in the offing now. With what has happened, these people who never wanted to give up the terrorists, they are going to use all manner of gimmick to embarrass America. They will tell the whole world how America have planted IED and is killing their people. They will tell the whole world that the bomb America brought to Nigeria is killing their people instead of the terrorists. So I am not amused, because ask yourself, how did the bomb get to that place? Did America fire anything in Niger State? Please tell me. Did America fire anything in Niger State?
Are you alluding to the fact that this might be some this
Is
might
it
be
not
a play?
obvious? How did he get to that place? Did he walk on his legs to Niger State? Did he walk? These are the issues here. Propaganda. This thing that these people are doing, they think that they are. No, they are not. This thing is deliberate. How did the bomb get to that place? That's the question.
No, but
if you have a military that is very, very circumspect, a military that is very active, none of these things would have been hard. They would have mopped up everything after the bombing.
Barrister, when you say propaganda at work, are you saying that, look, what we are seeing is not a bomb that is found somewhere in Niger State? Or are you speaking to a possible complicity that, look, you recall that after that incident, the Nigerian military told us that they had cordoned the place. And they sent pictures. I even saw pictures of Nigerian soldiers walking around that place. Is there a possibility, could there be some form of complicity that, look, they took the bomb and now in the process of, because recall too that Nigerian government said they were monitoring the movement of the terrorists. So if they were monitoring, could there be a complicity that this bomb found its way through some form of arrangement between Nigerian people, Nigerian government, Nigerian soldiers, and the terrorists, and probably they want to use it in parts of Niger State? Is there a possibility?
If there is truth in what they told us, that bomb wouldn't have gotten to Niger State. If there is truth that they cordoned off the place, they would have mopped up everything there. Is that not true? They would have made sure that nothing leaves that particular spot.
And that's my question.
So
having mopped up, and now we found this bomb.
They didn't now. That's what I'm telling you. That's where the lie has been exposed. Because a bomb cannot work except you take it to one particular place. A bomb cannot work now, Mr. Okoro. From Sokoto to Niger. Somebody made the movement now. Okay. So who is that person?
And that's the question.
So the military should tell us. Because something is not something you pick on the road or whatever. It's not. So the thing is that by the time this thing starts exploding in people's house, they will now call America. They will tell the whole world, it is American bomb. Look at it. Look at where it came from. It is American made. You know that kind of thing. By that time now, they will embarrass America and say, look at the one they came, they did not even bomb the terror, they are bombing our people. How will you explain that? Or you think they don't know what they are doing? It's deliberate. It's deliberate, and that's what I'm saying here. There is no way that bomb can move from Sokoto to Niger State. It's not possible.
But Barrister, after that, the Sokoto bomb, we discovered that states that are contiguous to Sokoto State, talk about Zamfara, Kebbi, that parts of them, that they were also affected in the process. Is there a possibility that probably Niger State too?
Look at Niger, look at Sokoto.
Okay.
Look at Niger, look at Sokoto. Are they too close?
Okay.
No, please tell me, are they too close? This is where Nigerian people should not be deceived here. Mr. Okoro, ab initio, the federal government of Nigeria never wanted these things to stop. And so if somebody is coming here to stop it, they won't be happy. They feel embarrassed. Especially our Nigerian military, who have not done the needful over 15 years now. Over 15 years, Nigerian military couldn't stop this thing. And somebody is coming all the way from it. You think they'll be happy? No, tell me, you think they'll be happy? If you think they are happy, then go and read how the last chief of army staff was murdered. Go and read it. Is it not the military that carried out that operation? Tell me. And that's the man who wanted to stop this thing. So how can I sit down here and clap for them that they are doing well? If they are doing well, America wouldn't have come here to help us.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Let's go to Benin City, where we've been joined by Mr. Chris Ojekere. Mr. Ojekere is a political affairs analyst. Good morning, Mr. Ojekere, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Good morning and Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Happy New Year to you too, Chukuma and the others, please.
Okay, very well. Now, Chris, I'm sure you have followed this conversation. We are having issues here after the bomb incident in Sokoto State. The other day, like a few days ago. Meanwhile, in parts of Sokoto State, we saw young boys, young men, fiddling with something that looks like a bomb, apparently confirmed that it's a bomb. And we saw young men fiddling with it. And at that point, the authorities said, look, we need to do more to sensitize our people. And a few days after that, we now hear that in far away Niger, away from Sokoto, we see another bomb. Something that looks like it anyway, and it's been confirmed by police authorities. So how do you explain, can you help us make sense of the fact that something happened in Sokoto State, far away, and in Niger State, which is not even contiguous to Sokoto, and we have like 3 other states, before you get to Niger. How did it get there? Could you help us answer the gates,
In a bit, it's going to be a bit because this is by no means a professional point of view, but I know it for a fact that the bomb that was used in Sokoto, the Tomahawk, has a mechanism of self-operation. And if it's flying from a particular destination of launch to its target, it drops several things along the way, depending on the distance. I know from where it was launched in the Gulf of Guinea to Sokoto, it's about 1,000 kilometers. So as it's going, it's self-regulatory. It has a self-regulatory mechanism. And in the process, it uses some canisters and, things that look like bombs and IEDs and all of that. When it has used it off, it drops it. You even found one in Kwara. They picked up something in Kwara, not just in Niger State. So it drops it. It refuels itself. It's able to go further. We have not been told specifically what this thing is, whether it's a bomb.
If I understand you clearly, if I understand you clearly, Dr. Christopher, I beg your pardon, Christopher Ojekere, you're saying that the bomb, when it was launched, had parts of it dropped before it got to its final destination.
It's not bomb. The Tomahawk itself is self-regulatory.
Okay.
If it's going on a very long journey, the mechanism it uses, there are some it burns off, and then it
just like a rocket would.
Like a rocket those things it burns off, it drops them, and then it renews itself. That's how it is designed.
All right, now, would it be easy or would it be difficult to locate areas where it might have dropped off some parts of itself before getting to the final destination?
It will not have been difficult if it has a ground, like you said. If you have the military here putting their boots on the ground and they have their flight route and they have their mapping, then we should leave that to experts who would have been on ground to know, such targets, because it's just a self-regulatory mechanism. So as I said earlier, they found a piece of canister, also not this big, in Kwara State. So what we don't know for now is that what we have in Niger, whether it's a bomb or one of those used canisters that it dropped on its way to Sokoto. However, I do not completely discount, the theory of the barrister. Because these bombs seem to have been placed to be found, whether it's a bomb, I shouldn't call it a bomb, a canister, whatever it contains, seem to have been placed to be found. And if you watch the response, strategy of in fact, the entire story, somebody found it, told the local government chairman called the police. If the police were this responsive in other issues in Nigeria, then we could say it's normal. For me, this response mechanism and this serial analysis of how the bomb was found by a farmer through the local government chairman to the police is too smooth for me. So it does look like something that was dropped to be found. And as the barrister said, if you have a government that is opposed to external help against terrorism, the government will want to discredit the work that was done by the Americans. That work must never and can never be discounted. We are hoping for more of such work. So whatever it is, the government needs to come out. They say they want to check and study it. I'm surprised that they have to take such a long time. They could have been able to tell us it's a bomb that was not detonated and whatever. But if it's ever that it's normal and natural that it happened, it must be one of those used, disposable canisters by the Tomahawk. If not, we don't have a further explanation.
All right, and well, let's also go to Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesiobi, who joins the conversation from Oka. Doctor, we're basically just postulating here because we don't have, any military personnel to give us the actual fact as to how this might have found its way to Niger State. But what are your thoughts, really, on all of this? And if it's some sort of propaganda, to what aim, if I may ask you?
Well, thank you very much. This development is quite a further embarrassment on our own part, because instead of handling this kind of information in a very sensitive manner, we are only trying to, continue to watch our destiny in the public, because I see no reason why, as a country that is having this kind of challenges, we should be allowing this kind of information to fly around. And you will not be wrong to join those conspiracy theories now that we want to align with the argument of the barrister in the studio, that these things are a way of setting things in motion to discredit the intervention that we are getting from the international community. Because over the years, we've been trying every means possible, domestically, internally, to try to address this issue, this security threat, security challenges, but we've not, made considerable success. Then when this help is coming, though belatedly, we are now trying to create opportunities where we can now puncture holes into the intervention. So for me, I would say that we should keep our focus on, sustaining the efforts, maintaining the tempo, because yes, I'm no security expert to know what was discovered along the way, but somewhere along that, I used to remember back then they tell you how some explosives were found long after the Nigerian Civil War, and the stories they now try to spin around after it. So, but in our own case, in this case, our military should continue, our security forces should continue the acknowledged cooperation they are already having with the United States security authorities in trying to know or to confirm the source of this, either is a bomb or is a canister or whatever explosive device, whether active or engaged or dormant or deactivated, how they can follow up on this so that we don't have a repeat of something like this that can put the neighboring communities in harm's way and maintain the tempo of fighting these insurgents.
Okay, now, Dr. Ekesobi, talking about fighting the insurgents, talking about fighting terrorism. I don't know if you listened to the chief of the new Minister of Defense talking about Christopher Musa. He said in an interview, I think that was the day before yesterday, he said, anytime the moment we are trying to, make success, somebody pulls us back. Now, he was chief of defense staff. He experienced all of that. He is now in the Ministry of Defense, more like supervisory. Supervises the army, the police, intelligence, and all of that, defense minister. And he's coming out to say, look, anytime we try to make success, somebody pulls us back. Does it look like it's already becoming overwhelmed, just months, a few weeks, of being appointed Minister of Defense? A lot of people expected that with his experience as Chief of Defense Staff and now Minister of Finance, he'll be able to, aggregate all those experiences and now push these people back, but he's now complaining. So what do you see?
Challenges did not, like I said, did not start today. Even if he has been directly or indirectly involved in the counter-terrorism efforts so far, but this is the first time he is coming face to face with the policy side to see that yes, there is a different perspective or different dimension as to tackling security challenges from what you find in the field, in the battlefield, and what you find in conference room and boardrooms. So maybe he's speaking from the benefit of hindsight, that yes, that there are persons in place who they are stuck in trade is to sabotage the security efforts of the government. Now it is left for him to now take it a step further and summon that courage, the political will we always talk about, in trying to identify who these persons are, where these threats are coming from, and trying to neutralize them. He is now in the position to give the order, to call the shots. So he shouldn't succumb to that narrative of always, joining this.
Complaining. This is where the problem is. This is where the problem is.
Now that he knows where the problem is, is to tackle it head on.
All right.
And as somebody who has the experience and the background, he should go ahead and do so. And show us. Nigerians are tired of this continuous explanation and the narrative as to excuses.
Okay.
We should go ahead and give us results.
All right.
Just like
thank you very much.
Give us
thank you
results.
very much, Dr. Ekesobi. Thank you very much. Now let's come back to the studio. Barrister Darlington, I don't know if you listen to Chris Musa saying, look, anytime we try to make progress, something pulls us back.
I am not surprised that they're coming to give us excuses. I said it here. I remember the day this man was appointed. He said, you know what pissed me off? He said he's going to put up a panel to investigate who gave the order to withdraw the military before the security agency, before they kidnapped those guys. I said, are you serious? So such a thing is what you are going to set up a panel for. Abi? Something, a phone call, 2 minutes phone call, can give you the name and the person, and you want to set up a panel. That was when I knew that they are not going to do anything. And I said it here. I said it. The day this topic was brought here. So more excuses are coming from him. Even the president who ordered those people to leave that, did he get answers? Nigerians, please, did he get answer? A whole president of Nigeria, go and try it with Trump. Try it with Trump and see what will happen to you. So these people are not ready. I don't like coming people to deceive me. Look, I don't want it. Every day we discuss this thing. Meanwhile, we know the truth. Nobody wants to say it. So why are we talking about it? Somebody wants to play my intelligence and I am playing along. That means I'm a fool. How can you tell me that up to now nobody knows the solution to this problem? Meanwhile, the people that are controlling the levers of this security are walking about in government circles. In government circles. You are determined you are fighting. Arrest them and put them where they belong, and this thing will end. Nobody wants to do that. Then what are you saying? Please, what are you saying? It's just that I have to do this. If not, I would stop talking about this security because Nigerian government has not told us what they are doing.
We can't stop talking
Well, then what is the need? What have we not said, Okoro? Tell me what you have not said. Tell me what the excuse.
We'll keep talking.
Talk in this matter, we follow Donald Trump method, it would have solved this problem. Okay. Talking is not, you don't talk in this particular
Now, if you were not talking, you would not prefer this prescription. Now, you have given us a prescription. Now, let's come to Mazi Amobi. Mazi, I want to ask you, I know you have a few things to say, or even a lot. I want to ask, between policy and politics, where should we locate our problem? I ask that in the light of the fact that in policy, we had a chief of defense staff, who reported directly to the commander-in-chief, and we are looking for political will embedded in the military command, and we couldn't find it. Policy. Now, in the politics, as Minister of Defense, he's still complaining. So where should we look at our problem?
It's politics. You locate your problem in politics. Very unfortunately, though, when he was, appointed, people also complained, just like Barrister is saying, that there is qualitatively a different ball game between operations and policy making. And some of us have been proved correct in that direction. I think what Musa should do is to I don't know whether there is a monster in this whole presidency thing. When you get there, you begin to also prevaricate, as it were. You don't say it the way it is and all that, because there is an bearing influence of certain things and all that. This problem needs no, sugarcoating. And that is why I strongly believe in what America is doing. Because if left alone, Nigeria cannot take that vital decision to exterminate insecurity. That is my problem. The problem is located in politics. Until we have a leader that can eschew politics from insecurity, this problem will be solved in the next 2 weeks, 3, 4 weeks. Otherwise, we'll still, play along. Recall that after the American invasion, the tempo has died down because they are now finding ways to continue what they are doing. I think what America should do is to step up the tempo and then get these people subdued, and then we can now move forward. Left alone, the Nigerian elite, political elite, to my mind, does not seem to have what it takes to, stop this insecurity. A lot of things has happened, and then you continue to tell the people that want to help you that is this, is that. You have hands-on knowledge of what is going on, and yet in your acts and utterances, you are not doing what it's supposed to do. So I think the problem can be located very well within the political structure of this country. That's my take.
All right, then. Well, if that be the case, it doesn't seem like it's something that we'll deal with and sort out anytime soon, does it?
If we have the much touted political will, we can deal with it.
Asking, where can we buy this political will?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Just take a madman, in quotes, to get this thing done. A madman. Just get a madman momentarily.
The president is not mad enough.
Eh?
I do not think so. I do not think so.
The example of his attitude, the example of his attitude
I do not think so.
in the midst of all this thing will tell you what is going on. Where is he?
First, when the president when he came into office and he moved major CBN offices from Abuja to Lagos, and some individuals in the north complained, some people, down south and down east were like, yes, this is what it takes to make laws. I mean, the president has also pushed for local government autonomy and some other things, and he seems to be getting his way. Why is that of dealing with insecurity different?
Because from the look of things, there is an agreement. They said it openly. Especially when this movement of offices happened. The North said that they have not been treated well, but this is not the agreement they had when they gave him 60% vote. Didn't you hear it? Didn't you hear it? So there was an agreement. And now Tinubu is in a dilemma how to implement that agreement because of second term. That is what is going on here. Nothing else. Look at how he cleverly excused himself out of Nigeria. In the midst of what is going on, does it show you that this president is serious about ending this matter? Tell me. In the midst of what is going on, he just left. No talk, nothing, And then, so of all the time you have to go on holiday, it had to be this time, Abi. All because he don't want to make a statement and offend those he had an agreement with. I have asked you here, tell me the truth. Since Tinubu came into office, have you seen any time he made a statement directly to these people causing this problem? And call out their names because we know them. Have you seen any time he made a statement calling them based on security report that your nonsense must stop? You have had enough. I can't turn, you know.
But Barrister, when you say call them out directly, the president has been very, vocal in saying, Chief of Army Staff, IGP of Police, go after these people. At a point, he even asked the Minister of State.
Who are the people? Who are those people?
So does he know them?
Who are those people?
Okay, you have started. He doesn't know them, Abi. Security report have not told him who they are, Abi.
The names of people involved.
He doesn't know. When he went to Benue, the 13th had to tell him this is not farmer header clash.
Okay.
Is that not enough information?
And he asked, would these people have they been arrested?
Who are the people?
You see, Mr.
Every time you cleverly avoid mentioning names.
Mr. Koro, the information available to Mr. President is so humongous that you don't even have it. All the issues, all the parameters that he has to take decisions are with him. The point is, how can he take this decision?
Okay.
You understand? He left for Europe. Where is Europe? Is Europe a country?
All right.
Tell us exactly where Mr. President is at this particular point in time. And before they now came and told us he went to France and all that. You see, they are not serious.
We are not seeing him.
They are not serious. The issue of insecurity is much more than, even when you put it on a scale, for me, it weighs more than the politics. Of course, if you don't have a country, you don't have politics.
Indeed.
But they are joking with the whole situation.
All right. Now, we'll have to let Barrister go. And then I would like to ask Mr. Christopher Ojekiri this question, and Dr. Ekesobi can also respond to the same question. Does it seem like the commander-in-chief is not really the commander-in-chief in Nigeria? Because something as little as withdraw escorts from VIPs has not been implemented. Something as little as that has not been implemented. We still have disciplinary committees being set up. We still have, some looking out for those policemen that are still playing the role of escorts for VIPs and all of that. Is that a bigger problem in Nigeria beyond what we see and what we talk about? And how can we solve it? Is it a change in the leadership? Will that solve the problem? Or what exactly will solve the problem? Especially if you also consider the fact that countries like Saudi Arabia have dissociated themselves from certain individuals that have played a role in the insecurity going on in Nigeria. And names have been given to the government of Nigeria, but nothing has been done. In fact, we've heard the National Security Advisor, the office of the NSA, giving guns to bandits.
Implicated.
Giving weapons and vehicles for logistics to bandits in the hope that these bandits will help protect the forests. How confusing is that, really? And what is the bigger problem, and how can we solve it? That's my question.
What is clear is that our constitution still guarantees all the powers that are located to the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is the President, Head of State, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. But what is not clear, or what we have been unfortunate not to have, is that we have not had a president that has been voted by Nigerians into that position in the past 4 years. President Bola Tinubu to be Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and Head of State and President of Nigeria. His election was fraud. And because of that flaw and fraud, we have a president who is a fraud. That is what the Nigerian people know. The books may be saying differently. Now, if you are an unpopular president, you won't get the cooperation, the support of the people to be able to solve the problems in the land. Because you will need the cooperation of the citizens from all cadre and categories of citizens to get information, to get advice, counsel, and even technical expertise, professional inputs, and so on and so forth, to deal with all problems of the land. So we must ensure that we go back to the electoral process. When Nigerians are allowing themselves to be manipulated or bribed or bought to produce the wrong president or the wrong leadership, this is what we get. There is no country that can solve its own problems if the people of the country are behind the president. So when you have a president who came in through a flawed and fraud, system, he will be dealing with people who are fraud and flawed. And then they will give advice and they will give directions to satisfy that interest. You just heard the barrister say something about covenants. There are so many covenants made. I remember when he was campaigning, one of his closest aides, I think Aja Hajatu or something, left him. And the reason why she left him is that he went to the president to say, what is your policy on security? What is your plan and policy for the North? And the president said he has no policy on security. He was very plain to her. He said he doesn't have any plans and policy. If I go too much after these people, they might even remove me from office. I mean, it's a public news. So the president has no plans for all the things you are asking him to do, because he came there with an agenda, a category, cabal, and interest, and he's there to serve that interest. And that interest goes beyond Nigeria. It goes as far as the international community. Why is the president bringing France, for instance, to come and take over our tax system? He's fulfilling an IMF, World Bank policy, whereby they bring those people they call taxes or tax officers beyond borders to come and take over your financial system, and they are getting remittance to pay for the debt that you owe, so that you continue to remain a debtor and continue to borrow from them, continue to service the debt. The people who should investigate that. No, so the president himself is serving an interest. That interest is not the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that is why issues that concern the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he doesn't know how to deal with them. Because those who are well-intentioned, who should help him to deal with them, he's not at the same page with them. So that is the problem. So to answer your question directly, we should ensure that we get it right in 2027, because there's nothing we can do right now, and ensure that it is the person Nigerians vote for that will be president of Nigeria, so he can solve Nigerians' problem.
All right, then, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher Ojekere. Well, let's get concluding thoughts from Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesiobi, and then we'll wrap up this conversation. Doctor, please, if you had the question, go right ahead, react to it, and then give us your concluding thoughts as well.
I think my concluding thoughts on this will be this. We have seen instances where very strange, or will I say an overreaction on the part of the presidency and the president. For instance, when the issue that came up with River State that made him all of a sudden, from nowhere, declare the state of emergency, when we've had, even worse situations in other states and the governors were left untouched. So if we could be that proactive, that forceful in the case of Rivers, for instance, why can't we be that decisive as far as addressing security situation in the country is concerned? Look at that. If you can revisit that tweet by the United States president confirming the attack in Nigeria, he said, at my direction as the commander-in-chief. You see, we need to start taking responsibility for certain things that are going on in this country. The president is the commander-in-chief. He is the minister of petroleum. If you look at these sectors that are directly under the command of the president, you see that there are still some lingering issues that needs to be addressed, and the buck stops at his table. So he needs to spare us most of these emergency consultations with the security chiefs and the rest, and begin and move straight into action. We are tired of all the noise, all the excuses, and get the security situation addressed. Whether there is
Thank you very much. Nigerians are indeed tired, and they want
that is business
to the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesiobi. Now let's dive into another conversation. Now, politics major politics. Atiku finally breaks silence on stepping down for other ADC aspirants. Oh well, let's talk about this when we come back from this break.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has spoken out on the growing debate around the 2027 presidential race under the African Democratic Congress, ADC. But Atiku made it clear that no aspirant in the ADC presidential race will be pressured to step aside. He said every qualified contender is free to pursue their ambition within the party. He made a clarification in a statement issued on Tuesday by his media advisor, Paul Ibe, while the statement also warned Nigerians against what he described as deliberate attempts by the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, to weaken the opposition ahead of the next general election. Atiku's reaction follows growing speculation that he is under pressure to step down in favor of a southern candidate as the ADC prepares to challenge President Bola Tinubu in 2027. In a statement, the former vice president argued that the real person who should step aside is President Tinubu. He described the president's leadership as a burden to the country and blamed his administration for worsening economic hardship and democratic decline. We still have in the studio here with us Mazi Amobi Ihebo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mazi, for
Thank
staying
you. Thank you.
And from our Benin and Oka outstations, we have Chris Ojekere and Dr. Chukwuno. So, the gentlemen, thanks for staying with us. Let me start from the studio here. Mazi, now on how the cookies crumble. We hear articles say, look, nobody is going to step down. Nobody is going to step aside. We don't want APC, to start manipulating and dictating for us as a political party. And we hear Rotimi Amechi say, look, I'm not going to deputize for anybody. P2B has entered, and when P2B entered, Atiku Abubakar said Obi's entrance is a turning point in coalition efforts in 2027 to oust Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We hear the same ADC say, well, we are trying to arrive at probably a consensus candidate. But nobody should tell us that the presidency should go to the south and all of that. Maz, I want you to capture the whole essence of what is happening in the ADC and tell us the possibility of ADC producing a candidate that will be able to challenge what looks more like a hegemony of the APC in 2027 general election. I want it to be very broad.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Koro. When Obi entered, declared his political allegiance to ADC, people felt, okay, probably the skirmishes have been resolved. Because just like Rotimi Amechi said, that it's too presidential to be a vice president. And Obi did not also mince words when he said he cannot be a vice president to anybody and all that. So with his entrance, and that probably delayed his declaration. So when he finally declared for ADC, people thought that issue had been resolved. Not until Paul Ibe now issued a statement from his principal. What that tells us is that the earlier ADC sorts out this issue of where the presidency will go to, the better for them, so that they can begin on time to strategize on how to, face that octopus called APC. If they continue to dilly-dally on the matter and all that and begin to play politics, it is not going to be well, or it is not in their overall interest to begin to delay. Time is of the essence. The whistle has been blown. The politics has taken over. Governance is now at the back seat. So what we are now talking about is politics. So they should get their ass in order.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And the odds favors a certain presidency.
I was coming to
it
that.
It favors a certain presidency at this point in time.
Do you think that this statement, should we take the statement for a statement, or should we take the statement for a decoy? Because Atiku Abubakar also is, and members of the ADC are afraid that, look, if they narrow it down, if they zero down their candidate to a particular person, that the federal government or the APC, as a matter of fact, might as well come after not just that ADC, but after the person. So, should we take the statement for a statement, or should we take it for a decoy?
If you ask me, it is in their own overall best interest to have a candidate by now. Okay. Tinubu was, given a clean bill of health over 1 year ago, when every other person stepped down for him, and he has been coasting. So it is better for ADC to have their own candidate now, so that the federal government, if they want, they can throw the tantrums, they can hit the policy, the system open, so that the person will begin to absorb whatever. And if you ask me, a southern presidential candidate will be more favorable, in the present political ecosystem of this country now, to grabbing power from the APC. So whatever, I think probably they are playing a little more politics, but this is January 2026. They should take that decision very, very, fast, okay, so that the person, they can go to work.
All right.
There is a lot of work to be done to begin to upset this albatross called APC.
All right, there's a lot of work to be done, according to Mazi here. Let's go to Benin City, where we still have Mr. Chris Ojekere. Now, Mr. Chris, you are a top member of the ADC. So let us into what is going on in your party, the presidential ticket. Are you guys rooting for a southern presidential candidate or what? And if you bring your candidacy, your ticket to the south, we have a situation where we already have the incumbent here in the south talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and you bring your candidacy, your ticket to the south, where you have probably a Rotimi Amechi or a P2B, and slash the votes of the south into two, and you have somebody from the north, comes out with a ticket, and the north throws their weight behind the person. How is it going to work out? So let us into your plans for 2027 as a political party.
Let me just say to you that there are many things going on behind the scene that you are not aware about. What you are finding now in the public space is narratives spewed by the APC, who thought that they could derail this process of this coalition that God has blessed Nigerians with. We are aware of their strategies, we are aware of their manipulations. And so we have made up our mind long ago in the ADC that we are not going to allow APC dictate our pace. No,
but it's not the APC that is speaking now. It's Atiku Abubakar of the ADC. He's the one speaking.
Yes, I'm coming there. That we're not going to allow the APC. You see, they go out to the press, and what Atiku was responding to did not originate with the ADC. It originated in the press, and we know those who put it out there in the press, trying to stampede our party into a premature, organization. We said it ab initio that we are going to conduct a primary. Because if we are going to be ADC, we must do things differently. We cannot appoint, as the APC did, we cannot appoint a presidential candidate. We cannot, by fiat, name any individual as a presidential candidate. We are going to do our primaries. We have our own strategies. We have our own timetable. We are well aware of INEC's timetable. So the ADC will do a primaries, and then whoever emerges as the winner of that primary will be acceptable to Nigerians, because in the primaries is.
Do you think whoever, as you put it, emerges will be acceptable to Nigerians? When P2B and his supporters, the Obedient Movement, have said, look, if he's not the flag bearer, if he's not gunning for the presidency under the ADC, we will not even support him.
No, the Obedient Movement didn't say that. You see, that's part of
the narrative. They did say that.
No, it was Pat who told me on Channels Television.
No, some of the members of the Obedient Movement also said that. You are referring to a particular interview. I'm referring to some conversations. Excuse me, please. Excuse me. I understand the interview that you are referring to. but I'm referring to conversations that we have had with members of the obedient movement that have said, look, it's either Peter Obi is contesting for the presidency or nothing else. And if he's not contesting for the presidency, if he's going to be a running mate to anybody in the ADC, we will not support him. These are coming. This is coming from
where Humphrey. You should take our official statements. Yunus Atanko is the head of the obedient movement worldwide, and shortly after that, pronouncement by Patu Toby, Yunus made it very clear to the world that the obedient will not walk away, even if Peter Obi does not get the presidential ticket. We want to keep them in their suspense. We are going to follow our processes and will produce our presidential candidate. He will be acceptable to Nigerians because in primaries, a national convention is itself a mini primary. It is what you may refer to as a mock election before the real general election. And that's why we're insisting on the primary. Because we don't want to make the mistake that the APC and other parties are making. Okay. We want to ensure that Nigerians sees that democracy was put to play and that we had a primary, and then we arrive at a candidate and we'll present that candidate to Nigerians, and then we will sell the candidate across the country. If it's from either part of the country, we'll sell him to the other side. Right now, we are the most balanced party. We have gladiators from all parts of the country.
All right. Yeah. Freely and fairly conducted primaries. And we know how primaries that have involved Atiku Abubakar has, we know how these things have gone. But if that's the position of the ADC, let me find out from Dr. Chukwunonso Ikeshebi what he thinks about the workability of this position if Nigerians will run with it. Dr. Chukwunonso, please. You've heard a member, and are you also a member of the ADC? Okay, we've lost connection to Dr. Chukwunonso Ikeshebi. But Mazi Amobi, this position, does it sit well with? Are you a supporter of the ADC? Because I know you're not a member of the ADC.
I'm not particularly happy with his postulations, because history has taught us in this country that when you are pretending, just like what is it called, PDP did, you now know what is left of PDP. Because they were saying, let's go to the primaries first, whoever emerges, and blah, 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 and all that. You can see the remains of PDP. In fact, by the end of the January, I don't think PDP will have a single governor. And that is it. So PDP has gone into oblivion because of what they should have done, what they needed to have done, they did not do. So I am also saying that ADC should take a cue from that and have a position. I'm not saying you should name a president, have a position so that people can run with it. People can build on it. So that by the time your candidate emerges, you begin to, it's no longer news. People have already taken positions and all that.
But his position is following due process.
I agree with you. Which type of due process? You see, constitutions are written, some are unwritten. As at now, we have an unwritten understanding that the presidency should remain in the South for the next 8 years. Tinubu has gone through and you understand me? What of the remaining leg of the distance? It should come to the South. In 2031, it will go to the North. So when you make your policy statements and all that very clear, it leaves lesser room for ambiguity. And then people will run with it. That's what I'm saying.
People are asking.
Because just like you rightly pointed out, we know how primaries are conducted in this country.
Okay, I'll come to the primary state. But people are asking, what if Atiku Abubakar had won as a PDP candidate in 2023? It would have truncated the arrangement. And would there be any problem with that?
It could have truncated, but he didn't.
No, but assuming. Yes. They create a what-if scenario. What if Atiku had won?
Truncated it because Atiku could have gone these 8 years. And then by that time, the South will come back again.
No, what I'm saying is that as at that time, Northern Buhari was living.
Yes, yes.
Now, Atiku came and he was first runner-up with over how many 6 million votes or so, or more than 6 million votes. If he had won,
the sentiment could have also counted. The part of these sentiments of north-south dichotomy could also counted. So what we are saying is that in a fair contest, let us adopt this thing. Now that we have adopted it, let us run with it. It's an unseen thing.
So if we have adopted it, then we shouldn't see another run when.
Well, at an individual level, they said you are inalienable right to contest any election. You understand me? But as a matter of policy, there must be rotational presidency. What is left is trying to enshrine this into our constitution, which we have, for too long shied away from, because it is undemocratic, like they say. You need to shut out some people's rights and all that. But democracy should be homegrown. Democracy should be, what you think is democracy. You see, in your family, the way you run your family, qualitatively is different from the way I run my family. You understand me? And both of us can get the same results. So democracy should be domesticated to suit the, understanding of the, if, for instance, in Ghana, they don't have this rotational thing. In Nigeria, we have it. It works for us. We run with it. And I think the people that crafted this north-south thing now means well. So that, because politics is along ethnic line, along geopolitical line, and along every other line. So if we divide it into the north-south, it makes it easier. It makes it easier. So when you come to the south, you begin to politic. Who comes where? Of course, when you come to south, the easterner will tell you, okay, the westerner have had their own. The southerner will tell you, okay, this, that, another. And you have a consensus, and then you run with it. So what I'm saying in the face is that ADC should come up clean and make a bold statement, and very quickly too, because time is running out. APC has already taken position, and there is a time when you come into the race, it becomes difficult to dislodge such political, pillars that have erected. So the time to act is now. Even if you are not, it's not time for you to pick a presidential candidate, you can make a policy statement to the effect that the party has zoned it to the south. That's what I'm saying.
This is the direction we are traveling.
Yes.
Okay. Now, and a lot of people, this arrangement, it's working for Lebanon. Lebanon has this arrangement where they rotate their presidency and vice presidency among the major ethnic groups, religious groups, and it's working for them. Abacha tried to do that in Nigeria, but unfortunately we lost it, when he died. Let's go to Oka, where we have Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesobi. Dr. Ekesobi. Oh, okay. I understand that we've lost connection with Dr. Ekesobi. Let's go to Benin City, where we still have Chris Ojekere. Chris, I would like to get your final word, your final thoughts on what is going on in the politics of ADC presidential ticket. What should we expect? What do we expect from your party?
There's going to be a primary. The guest you have at the studio there is speaking to rotational presidency. Unfortunately, ADC already has a constitution, and then we are bound to abide by that constitution. Zoning is not a constitutional matter. It's a matter of convenience and expediency. That will be discussed sometime, later. But for now, let's stick with the constitution. The time is short, as he said.
Okay.
And let Nigeria know that there is a party that follows internal democratic process. So we follow our constitution.
All right.
We do a primaries and we produce a candidate.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chris Ojekere. Now we'll go for a short break, and when we return, federal government inaugurates committee to train 1 million Nigerians in G2 schools. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The federal government has inaugurated a Joint Implementation Committee, JIC, to plan a national digital literacy conference and oversee the training and certification of 1 million Nigerians in digital and emerging skills as part of efforts to attain 95% digital literacy by 2030. The committee was inaugurated in Abuja on Tuesday by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, General Services Office of the SGF, Mr. Ibrahim Kana, at the launch of the Clergy Wealth Digital Skills Nigeria Skill Up Initiative. Now, speaking at the event, Kana described the inauguration as a significant milestone in the federal government's deliberate and strategic commitment to deepening national digital literacy, strengthening human capital development, and promoting inclusive digital transformation in line with national development priorities. Kana also stressed that the program, which is being implemented under the future-proof economy model, is fully sponsored and executed by Clergy Wealth Cooperative Society Limited, without any financial commitment from the federal government. Oh well. But the federal government basically has spoken at this event that it's not exactly financing. But now, let me start off with you, Mazi Amobi. 1 million Nigerians. We've heard a lot of this. Does this give you any, do you feel this would be any different? We've had a lot of empowerment programs here and there, employment to be given. And then, especially in a society where Nigerian youths are quite tech savvy.
Yeah, I'm not particularly amazed with, especially when government is involved. Because before you say Jack Robinson, you begin to see partisanship in whatever. Some people might be asked to go and get a letter from your ward, state chairman or whatever. Then that will make nonsense of the whole thing, because every other person in Nigeria is not a card-carrying member of the ruling party. Having said that, they said Clergy Wealth Cooperative Society and all that in conjunction with federal government. Have we, looked into who are the members of this Clergy Wealth Cooperative Society to begin to see clearly what the agenda is all about? I think government is not particularly entrenched to, creating jobs, or, the government should give enabling environment for jobs to be created, for skills to be upskilled, and all that. They should not directly be involved. That is our problem in this country. A lot more, in retrospect, if you check government activities in terms of, this line of thought, you find out that it has not worked. At a point in time, a DG will come and say, another, and the whole thing was scattered. If this government goes out, a new government comes in, they will not really support that initiative. So what I'm saying in effect is that the government should put on their thinking cap, think deeply on how to, do this and all that, and begin to, actualize it. This government thing, because you have had some people that were employed 8 years ago in certain agencies were asked to leave in this country. And as at that time, they believed that they have gotten a job, only for a new administration to come and then say they are, asking them to leave and all that. We had that experience in this country. So, against that backdrop, I'm saying that it is not in the place of government to begin to do what they want to do. Their own is to give enabling environment for people, for issues, companies to thrive, and then provide security of life and property. That is the major aim of government. Our society is capitalist in orientation, and then people will zero in on the favorable environment created by government to begin to create jobs. That is what we're saying. It is not in place of government to do this. Government should give enabling environment, make the society very safe, and all that, and then we are not daft, I'm not daft, a lot more Nigerians are not daft. People have ideas, but one thing or the other is inhibiting them.
Okay.
Talk about this tax thing. Some people are even looking at the whole thing again. Yeah, you do this, you pay tax. You do that, you pay tax. The government is not providing the enabling environment. There are certain things that government should look away from. It is not, tax is not just the only way government can generate revenue.
Well, this basically
you must have to produce first before begin to tax.
Well, this
but
basically
it's like
speaking to digital skill acquisition.
I agree with you. I'm talking about skills also. Now I have raised an issue. Who are those people that will be part of this digital skill upscale?
Members of the Clergy Wealth Cooperative Society.
And in terms of Nigerians, who are they? Are they going to be recruited? Is it going to be another scam? You saw what happened when during the Isnai Senator Abba Moro, when he was a minister for Interior or something like that. You saw the pandemonium that occurred during the recruitment process of one government agency or the other. So what I'm saying in effect is that, this type of thing are just to gain political mileage. That is the way I look at it. If government want to do this, they know where to do it, how to do it, how to support even the existing ones to be able to do. But government cannot come, just like they said, it's clergy wealth cooperative, they are not involved, they are not financially involved. Before you say Jack Robinson, somebody is dipping hand into the cookie jar of the government to support this.
All right, then. Let's go back to Mr. Christopher Ojekiri. What are your thoughts on this one? 1 million Nigerians. 1 million Nigerians to be trained. Skill acquisition. Is this? This is not the first time that we are having things like this being said or being put out there. What's your take on this one? And is this the kind of thing that ADC will also do? It's similar. Will they do something like this?
That clergy work sounds very much like something that can emanate from Redeemed Church. Clergy work foundation sounds very much like a religio-political organization. But is it not strange that, according to the story, clergy work organization is 100% responsible for the funding and training and everything, and yet it is the secretary to the federal government of the federation that is the face of what a private entity is running. The secretary of the federation is the face. One would have thought that clergy work would be the face and government would express its support from the background. So that says the face and the one driving the publicity and driving the initiative, in the public space. The government cannot tell us what it's telling us. The truth of the matter is that when you say digital skills, what do you mean? Which category of people have been listed as those who are to get the digital skills, and what exactly are you teaching them? In Edo State here, the past governor of Edo State, Governor Baseki, when I went to the secondary schools and the primary schools and initiated digital skills training through the schools. So we know the categories who were involved in the digital skills training: secondary school students and primary school students. Now, who are the people who are members of this cooperative? Are they going to pick them off the streets? Are they running it by the school? What exactly are the skills to be taught? Because, the information was so scanty. What exactly are you going to do? What are the packages? What are the digital packages you want to teach? And how do you intend to project it and, prosecute it? So I believe that this is another arm of government hiding under a very, unknown name. And that's why you see that government is so excited and its own secretary to federal government is the one driving it. And it's probably to single out a group of people that will eventually be, some of them will be employed to man INEC, election booths later, that they have been trained on digital skills and they can man INEC polling booths and all that. We are going to watch out for all of that. I do not believe in that skill. I do not believe in that project. I believe the government is involved and is using the surrogate to front it. That's just what it is.
The vital point that you've made now, individuals from this being recruited into INEC to man the operations of the Beavers and maybe IREV as well. But
yeah.
Okay, let's have your reaction to that point that he just raised.
Yeah,
Quite a sensitive
that
one.
is what we have when you have limited information. Just like he rightly pointed out, I raised that issue that clergy wealth corporations, who are they? Who are they? And their face is unknown. Let me paraphrase what he said. Their face is unknown. Who are they? Of course, when we now know them, we begin to attach credibility, levels of credibility in what they want to do. And you see, in this country, a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen. So if Ojekere is talking about these people after graduation comes into government will absorb them, it's a possibility. You see, because the present administration has demonstrated, obvious interest in. They said 2027 is a foregone conclusion. If Nigerian system works, you cannot be talking about 2027 being a walkover. Rather, you do certain things to be able to win the loyalty of Nigerians to vote for you. So a lot of things, anything is possible in this country. That's what I'm saying. And then the people that will be left over, are you going to give them startup packs? Are you going to the secretary to the government should have come up with a comprehensive idea of what they want to do. Are you going to give them startup packs after the training, or you're going to leave them like that after the training and all that? What is the recruitment process like? And who are the clergy wealth cooperative society? These are questions begging for answers in this country. You see, the level of trust deficit in the Nigerian system is so much that we need to interrogate whatever thing that comes out from government. That is the level we are in. Does it amaze you that the spokespersons of the government are not talking too much again? Before now, they were all over the place talking. Now, the ecosystem is very, very difficult now. They find it difficult to explain certain things. That is what we have. If not, you could have seen them all over the place, talking about this and talking about that and all that. So the important thing is that I am not very amazed with this policy. What they should do is to ensure that insecurity is reduced abysmally to a bearable level.
All right then.
Our people are very, they can do business. They will venture into areas where they can get returns.
Right.
Yeah, that is the Nigerian spirit.
All right,
They
thank you
can
very
get
much.
into
Thank you very much, Mazi Amobi Iheburu. Thank you very much for your contribution. And also, we've been speaking with Mr. Christopher Ojekere, who joined us from Benin City. And from Oka, we had Dr. Chukunonso AKCOB. And earlier on, we had Barrister Darlington Agumbo joining the conversation. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time and your thoughts. Newspaper review comes up next in about a few minutes. We'll be looking at the papers and making sense of the headlines there from the dailies. We'll see you at 10. I am Moses Humphrey, and I do expect Mazi Amobi to stay with us into paper review. See you at 10.
I am Chukuma Okoro. Bye for now.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Lovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV. Live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
In a world where power shakes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Aspirants. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Atiku and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the Locker Room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not going to the top, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the Atlas.
2564 is coming up on Barney 9 right.
The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we